Hey, glad to see y'all this evening, and thanks for joining us again for our series, Grounded, Finding Peace in an Anxious World. We've been working off a definition of peace that says peace is trusting in God's wisdom and control rather than on our own. I'm so glad that you're continuing to gather in your groups, and I hope that as you do your daily devotion and come to worship, God is working His peace more and more into your heart. You know, one of my favorite jokes that a lot of my friends are tired of is when we pass new construction in Greensboro, I say, man, I don't know what it could be. It's either going to be a mattress store, it's going to be a car wash, or it's going to be a storage unit. Now, I don't know what's going on in this city that we got so many dirty cars, that we got so many people needing mattresses, and we got to store so much stuff. Have you noticed? I don't know if you knew this, but in America in 2024, we spent $44 billion storing things. Things that we don't use, things that we don't see, things that we probably don't need. Did you know that there are more storage facilities than combined numbers of Starbucks, Pizza Hut, and Dunkin' Donuts? And people are paying $1,000 a year plus to hold on to things that they never come and look at. Over 20 years, that's $20,000 of your hard-earned treasure to store up treasures that you apparently don't want or need anymore. Now, I don't have a storage unit, but I definitely have shelves full of stuff in my basement. I got boxes that I haven't looked in years, but I'm not going to get rid of them because you never know what might be in there. I got a closet downstairs that I'm afraid to open because I don't know what's going to jump out at me. Why is it that we hang on to stuff that we don't use and we don't need? Well, I think there's a couple main reasons. First of all, we live in a consumer culture. We are bombarded with ads that are teaching us that our wants are actually needs, and we need to get more in order to be fulfilled. The other reason might surprise you because it surprised me. One aspect of our culture that Brené Brown points out is that we also live in a scarcity culture. We live in a scarcity culture of not enough. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, a lot of times the first thought that goes through your head is, I didn't get enough sleep. You think, I don't have enough time to get ready for school or work. You go to bed at night thinking, I didn't get enough done. This scarcity mentality is all through us. And now, how could a scarcity mentality apply to us having a lot of storage units? Because it looks like we got abundance, not scarcity. Well, we got to understand that the opposite of scarcity is not abundance. If that were true, then we'd be fine. The opposite of scarcity is enough. When we understand that we have enough, that we can say when, then we can have peace. And whether you have all the money in the world to spend or you're living paycheck to paycheck, this fear of not having enough, this fear of scarcity can still drive you. Jesus has a lot to say about earthly treasure and where we need to seek after. He has a pathway to peace with regard to money and stuff that's very countercultural, but actually is the pathway to peace with the Father. Tonight we're going to join up with Him again in the Gospels and hear from His wisdom. Jesus seemed to be very unattached to stuff. He didn't have a home. He didn't really have a bank account. But He always had everything He needed, and He lived with joy, and He wants us to live the same way. So tonight I want you to settle in and consider these words of Jesus, to ask what it would be like to trust God's wisdom and God's control in the area of finances and stuff, and to think about what it would be like to have a life not worried about getting more or keeping what you got, but a life of enough. Now, as you get started tonight, I want you to think about the show Storage Wars, where they bid on storage units and they open them up and they look at what's inside. If you were to win a storage unit on Storage Wars, what would you hope would be inside that unit? Talk amongst yourselves and enjoy being more grounded, finding peace in an anxious world this evening.